I just wanted to say that when this was live, we'd had a few technical issues and had to restart. So that's why it seems like it's mid-convo or mid-intro when this starts. I just wanted to say thank you as well. This was so much fun and we're happy to be back. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And to those on Spotify, Apple Music or Google Music, please do leave a rating. We find it very helpful and we really do appreciate it. Now, back to your normal show. There we go.
We'll just scrap
Yeah,
that.
no,
That
it was
didn't happen,
switched
that didn't
around.
happen. That was episode
Hopefully,
18.5.
hopefully everything has happened. Everything's working now. Yes, there's good FPS. My God, that took way too long. I do apologise on everyone's behalf. Yes, we're back. Hello, everybody. I'm Tactical TV. It's been a long bloody time. Oh God, it's good to be back though. It's been, as mentioned, 2 months. It never goes well the first time. It never goes well the third time. It just never goes well, apparently. So yes, as you can hear, I wanted to do that celebration at the beginning for everybody because it has been too bloody long. So yeah, we're just gonna have some. We've got some topics to talk about. It's gonna be fun. So yes, don't forget these podcasts are also recorded, uploaded onto YouTube, Twitter. No, not Twitter. Sorry, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and a whole load of other ones. So do check those out. I'm going to get stuff. They're always linked down in the description anyway. So yes. Wow. It's going to be a good one today. Genuinely, I think it's going to be a good one. We've got someone who hasn't been on before. And we've just got special guests in general. So it's going to be fun. So talking about the special guests, let's go and introduce them. How are we all doing today?
Hi.
What an introduction. Oh, that's a good pick.
Oh,
that is a beautiful pick.
pick.
Beautiful pick. You can look into those eyes for years and you'll get lost, man. You'll get lost.
I'm goddamn jealous.
So, yes, we're introduced by the wonderfully... we're joined by the wonderfully talented people here today. Thank you again so much for coming on, as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are we all doing?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good. I'm genuinely good
enough.
to hear that, man. Good to hear that.
Sick.
It has been. Oh wait, the last podcast would have been last year, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was in December.
Yeah, it was all new, yeah.
Was it in December?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realise it was that long ago, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay.
That's what 2 months is.
I just feel I always
It's not wrong.
I said it was 2 months, but I just don't remember doing one in December because so much happened. Christmas, obviously.
Actually, I think we were all wrong. The last podcast was 7 minutes ago.
Was
What?
it?
Yeah, because we had a stream. It only lasted a few minutes, though. Something was going wrong with it. Short podcast, episode 18.5, we'll call it.
Base.
Okay, that's interesting. I hate you for that. I've just realised. Fuck you. I'm trying to set stuff up, okay? I'll give some context, basically. I was doing the podcast for a long time in Streamlabs OBS, so then it was ever since I had the the Twitch channel, sorry, so I could do everything separately. I don't have to worry about changing the codes and all that, putting different codes in, getting the accounts right and all that. I had my main OBS for my main channel, and then Streamlabs OBS for the podcast, so I didn't have to mess around with stuff. However, due to some issues with Streamlabs OBS, I decided to move over to OBS. I'm just more used to it. Streamlabs OBS has its limitations as always, so I find OBS is just more useful. So yeah, that's where the main technical issues came in from what happened. So yeah, but I'm glad I'm using it genuinely. Still got some kinks to push in and out and get sorted. So yeah, some topics I want to talk about. I recently saw news that EA are trying to get rid, or might be completely ditching Anthem, which I find quite amusing because of the amount of hype and the amount of marketing they put behind that game. And it's been out for a year, and it's
Did you see what BioWare have actually been doing in that like time.
No, I haven't actually heard from what they've. I haven't
Yeah,
heard anything
so-
from they've done.
Apparently, and again, I didn't read fully into this, but apparently, basically, all of the BioWare development team have been in what they call hibernation mode, and they've been like working on a big, like huge update to Anthem, like a complete rework, and that is now being presented to EA, and EA are either going to go, yes, we actually think this is good, and we're going to like push the game and advertise it again, or no, all of this work is pointless and the game is not a thing anymore. So it's like either Anthem's going to get like a massive like rework, or it's just going to die, and I'm pretty sure it's the second, because I don't think
Yeah.
it was a good idea in the first place.
Yeah, I can't see it going well.
Poor fellas.
I genuinely don't know. It's so Anthem had a good concept, but it just didn't deliver really. Like I never really looked into what made that game fair. Like I wasn't interested in it from the start personally. It wasn't my sort of game, and so I just didn't really care about it when it came out. I found it amusing that it just died out instantly.
What's
Because
Anthem?
what's Anthem?
Yeah.
How did you? Oh, yeah, Agent Oink, or someone who knows better, Delicious or Astifood. How would you describe Anthem?
I have no clue. I've
Anthem
only seen a couple
is an
bits on
online
it.
multiplayer action role-playing game developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts. The game was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on February 22nd, 2019.
What are your sources
On an
here?
unnamed planet, players assume the role of the freelancers, heroic adventurers who wear powerful exosuits to defend humanity from. Okay, basically, you're in a suit and you can fly. Imagine like generic FPS mixed with like a bit of Destiny, a bit of Borderlands.
Oh,
a
is
bit
this
of,
a
like...
real? This is a game.
Yes, no, it's a
Yeah.
game made, not made
Oh.
by. It was published by EA, made by BioWare.
Yes.
And it was received very badly.
Very badly, like.
And I don't know why. When they originally announced it, they released a trailer. I think at one of the E3s.
Yeah.
And it for some reason then got like I'm going to call like a medium to positive reception, where people were like not sure about this, but it looks like it could be good, which blew my mind away because that trailer was awful. I think it's one of the worst game trailers I've ever seen in my life, and I genuinely have no idea how anyone was inspired and excited for the game. Like the voice acting was just horrifically done. Like just everything about it was bad. It was a bad release,
Oh, okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that it's just the whole situation, because the game wasn't even finished, was it? It wasn't a full game when it came out, as far as I'm aware.
I don't know.
Or it was
I
very
think
limited, and it just felt limited. Or sorry, from what I saw, it looked limited.
Okay, I think they launched with what they intended, not like they launched early access or anything.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that the features were what people were expecting. From what I heard, the actual gameplay itself, like the way that you moved around and the actual shooting mechanics, and to an extent the story were all right. But everything else in the game is apparently a massive letdown, with the open world being very empty and just not full of anything. And then there was just like certain limitations you run into with spongy bosses, and I've heard mixed things about optimization, so I don't know. I've not played it.
Oh, good
I don't know if
point.
any
I
of us
never heard much about the PC release. I just heard it just being a generally bad release in general. So yeah, I think it kind of that does kind of remind me, or does like bring back some memories of like, I think there was PC issues when it came out. At least from what I remember, I just remember a lot of people playing it on Xbox and on console.
Yeah.
So I assume it was just having bad PC rep.
I
Or
honestly
just
couldn't
bought it on
comment.
PC.
I don't think I've seen any comments on it from the console perspective, which is actually quite surprising, because now I think about it, there's probably a lot of people that were interested in it on console, considering the popularity of Destiny and Borderlands on console.
That's
Like,
very true.
Those sort of
Yeah.
games are generally very popular on console as an FPS subgenre, so I'm actually surprised I heard less about it. But yeah, everything I heard was from PC. But again, I didn't really follow it because I just don't remember there being much hype, really. It was one of those games that was like, this is a huge AAA game that no one seems to really be interested in. And then it released and it just flopped even harder than it was already anticipated.
Yeah.
Which is a shame for the developers.
Yeah,
The first
it'd
time-
feel awful if you put all that work into it.
The first time I saw it was on one of those like Facebook pages that just pump out loads of videos. I thought, oh, it's just gonna be like some indie game that's coming out. Didn't hear anything about it again. Then suddenly Anthem's released. I have no idea what it is, so I just ignore it. And then like a couple years later, I see it and see this exact same game that was in that random Facebook video.
So this is the article I was looking at. You know, the typical clickbait title, Anthem's Day may be numbered, as EA apparently reportedly decides on its fate this week. So we're going to find out later this week what's going to happen with it.
Our next topic's at Mass Effect butt shots.
So yeah,
I'm
and
excited for those.
man, it's interesting to see. I don't know. Again, the whole concept of this game just never interested me, so I never got into the hype realm of it. And I can understand. It's one of the biggest problems with games, I would say, in recent years, especially with these massive games that have been way too hyped up, is the fact that they get hyped up for no reason. I think the biggest example of this, and as much as I really want it to be a good game, Ubisoft getting the rights for... Oh, someone's going to have to remind me. What's the game they recently got the rights for?
Star Wars?
Yes, to make a Star Wars game, wasn't it? An open world Star Wars game.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
sounds
everybody
fine.
is
Not-
absolutely hyped about this, and I'm like, we have no information but one of the publishers or developers, and they've got the licensing. Nothing else.
Yeah, I'm not
That's 'cause
explicitly
what they're
sure
gonna make though.
they got the licensing for Star Wars. I want to clarify that. That
Okay.
basically, as far as I'm aware, what
I
happened,
just-
the exclusive rights that EA had stopped. That contract ended, and now Lucasfilms is giving out individual contracts to lots of companies, and one of those companies happens to be Ubisoft. It's not
Okay.
like Ubisoft is now the new Star Wars developer like EA was. It's just that
Oh,
they're
that's interesting.
making
That's how
a
I
game.
heard it. So-
No, I heard it the same way as Alfie. Disney just gave out, you know, the licensing, and it's not the fact that Ubisoft have got. It's like, I know this is not the topic, but have got the strict licensing. It's not that it's an exclusive. It's the fact that they said, oh, we're going to make it a open world Star Wars game, and everybody's like, oh, this is amazing. We have no information on it. It's more or less. I feel like it could be a Cyberpunk again, because it is a very big game, big world, big story, this whole concept of Star Wars, and so God knows what they're going to do with it in a game sense. God knows what they're going to do with it in an open world sense, but it would be nice for it to be good. It would be nice for it to be an amazing piece of media. And if they can carry on the story, even better. If they can strand off a different story or like explore something different, even better. If who knows, they might even go something like a huge sort of like EFT, just going with everything, and it just like snippets of each Star Wars story, each episode, sort of, you know. Who knows? I just don't want people getting extremely hyped over the fact that it's like, get excited, just don't overhype it, because we have no information about it. And so yeah, that's one thing that just annoyed me. But yeah, no, this whole Anthem thing's, it's unfortunate for any developer, big, small, good, bad. If a game doesn't do well, you're gonna feel shit, because you put a countless hours in it. Well, especially a game like Anthem. It is.
Yeah.
I would say a huge problem would be just the publishing house, and we all know what EA's like. So,
The best there is.
what was that? Sorry,
The best there is.
are you sure about that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Glory
Not
to
just
EA.
first. You can trust Jown's opinions, as he self-describes as a CDPR fanboy, so you know he's got the top-rated opinions in the gaming community.
So, yeah,
Speaking
no.
of,
What? Oh, go on then.
on that general topic, I honestly think one of the things that would make any no, this is irrelevant to the whatever Star Wars game Ubisoft end up developing and however it turns out, but all AAA games, I wish they would stop focusing on so much stuff that's so unnecessary, in my opinion. Like, AAA games for years now have really focused on having like a graphical wow factor and like a scale wow factor, but then often just like have like no actually good gameplay elements in them, or like they have minimal and okay ones. And it's really annoying because, like, Cyberpunk, again, I also had, like, very minimal issues. I had definitely had issues, but they weren't, and none of them were, like, game breaking. They were just more, like, funny to laugh at and that sort of thing. But, it was still, there's still systems in that game from, like, a game design perspective that just aren't finished. Like, the wanted and police system, it isn't finished. Apparently, it was implemented in the last week before the game was released, according to rumor, which seems entirely reasonable, because the devs weren't ready to release the game and management told them they had to release it, and that's basically what happened.
Can I ask
So,
a
like-
quick question? Who's Rumor?
I don't know, it's like loads of rumor. I don't know the origin. Probably a guy called Steve or something.
Oh, okay, so his name's not Rumor.
No.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, just in general, like, I think a lot of big AAA games recently have really focused on, like, having the utmost, most modern, impressive graphics, or, like, some big thing like that, when in reality that's not what matters in most games. And I think the enjoyment people get from a video game is often much more consistent if it has a very well refined set of game systems that actually, you know, implement the gameplay, and it's got a solid gameplay loop and stuff like that. A lot of small indie games nail that very well. I think that's why a lot of indie games have been top selling on Steam for years. I mean, like, Among Us, felt like a while now. Like, Among Us has obviously been doing well. You got Dyson Sphere Program and Valheim recently. A lot of smaller,
I didn't know
you
Dyson
know,
Sphere was indie. I've not
yeah, I
heard
believe
much
it was
about
second
to be
top
fair.
selling when I last looked, which was yesterday. So in global, they're pretty impressive. So yeah, it's like a lot of smaller games. It doesn't even have to be like indie, like tiny indie. Just smaller games that focus on doing one thing and doing it well, and refining a gameplay system. I think honestly can be more enjoyable, even if their graphics aren't the most wow or impressive you've seen, because it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. I don't think people actually care that much.
Yeah, no, I'd 100% agree. And
I don't.
I think it's also a big, I don't know if, like, kind of backing onto what you were saying, is like, what indie games do really well, at least the ones that sell well, like, well, the really small ones I'm talking about, like Among Us, is they don't promise out of this world shit. Like, you're getting what you're paying for, and they just work on it and add even more. Especially games that people, if they love what they're making, they're gonna put time and effort into making it even better. Phasmophobia is a great example of that as well. That's constantly getting updates to fix bugs and to add stuff. So
Interesting you should mention that. We were playing Phasmophobia yesterday, and I ended up looking at, like, Steam discussions, and it went on to reviews. And because I've been, so this is if you're in the beta branch, the game is updated like every couple of days, and I wouldn't even say it's mostly like small stuff like fixed a
No.
graphical bug. They are often like changing and balancing mechanics. But it's kind of a thing. There are bugs that have been in the main game now that I completely forgot about because I've been in beta for so long, that people are like still leaving negative reviews about, and I don't know. Like, it's great that it's getting updated so much, but I think they need to push a bit more, perhaps, to the what's the term for non-beta, public release, I guess.
yeah,
Yes.
I guess. I haven't really played Phasmophobia since. Well, I haven't played it. I haven't played it probably since before Christmas. That's gonna change very soon, unfortunately. So I think people still have a bad image on early access in this day and age, because there was a time, and it's getting a little bit better, but it's still not where it should be, where there's so much junk coming out that is just either a cash grab or just 2 updates later they give up on it, or they just fell out of love with the game. And it's unfortunate, but it's because of these, we just get so many games just lost into the ether, like just go nowhere. It's unfortunate, to be completely honest. But no, actually, Agent Oink mentioning these different games, are there any new games, or be it indie, be it AAA? I can't think of any ones that have come out recently, but are there any new games people are interested in?
I'm trying to think what's come out recently.
Because the only one I can think of, you mentioned, what was it?
See how long it takes them to get the name right.
No, it's Valheim or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh well, he got it.
What was the other one you said? Dyson
Sphere Program.
Dyson Sphere. Yeah, that's it. I saw that come out on Steam. Hit the top page. I haven't looked into it, but it looks like a really well polished game in general, to be completely honest. Very excited. I might get that. There are a lot of games I'm interested in getting, but money, I guess. Money's always the
Money.
issue. So
Yeah, I think honestly, as much as the past little while has been obviously pretty bad in the general overall history of the universe, for games that have released recently, as much as it hasn't been like the highest content of high quality games, there have been some decent ones. Like Phasmophobia is a small indie game that released. It's a really good game. It has its problems, absolutely, but it's a good game. Like Dyson Sphere Program, Valheim, the recent popularity of Rust, I think credits to the development work that's gone into that game over the long time.
That's pretty mad how Ross has come back.
Yeah, it shows a lot of like people aren't just interested in like seeing like in my opinion anyway, aren't just interested in seeing a new thing, like a good consistent bit of development on a, I mean Rust's been out. I don't know when it was in early access, but it was out for a long time.
But
a
it's
quick
similar
question.
to like there's a few games making a comeback.
Oh, quick question. So yeah, Rust coming back is decent. Minecraft always comes back in different forms. And what's the other one? I can't think of it now. Damn it. But is anybody aware of what current game he's working on at the moment? Because I keep seeing tweet about it.
Who?
Oh,
Gary Newman.
Gary. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
Gmod 2.
yeah,
Wait, is that like
What-
what it is?
Yeah, basically.
yeah. It's
Source
not
Engine 2,
it's not
but
called
Gmod.
Gmod 2, but it is basically Gmod 2.
Oh, cool. Because I've seen it looks like just it just looks like a random fun game, but he just keeps tweeting about it. I haven't looked into what it is.
Damn it! I've just realised Corporal put it in chat. No, I just found
Yes.
it on Steam as well.
Yeah.
Oh
Released
yes,
recently.
Yes.
someone was
Yesterday.
telling me about this yesterday.
Oh,
Oh
man.
damn!
I'm
I
behind the
could
times.
man.
Well found, Corporal.
I don't mean to like interrupt the discussion or anything too much, but Jowan, did you say that you disagreed with me earlier on like the games and stuff? Because I'd be interested to hear your opinion. Like you kind of got cut off a bit, I think.
What about what? What would you
Like
say? I think I
the
just
AAA games being released and how I think like gameplay systems being refined is more important than like having the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah,
wow
no,
factor in graphics.
I agree with you. I think I just got
Okay.
cut off.
Sorry. Yeah, so I was wondering. I didn't want to cut you off or anything.
That's right, bud.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
it called?
I
What's it
know. On a similar topic though, CDPR was actually hit with a ransomware attack 11 hours ago.
Oh,
I don't know if any of you have seen about that. But
Okay,
it's been
can
quite
I-
epically
because-
pwned.
because we love hearing me be a failure. Is this the thing where some is this thing that happened? Is this related to it? Because I saw an article saying that some of Cyberpunk and Witcher 3's code got stolen
Yeah.
by hackers, and something else about their HR team potentially.
So
Oh, I didn't hear about that bit.
it's obviously tough because when a ransomware attack happens, it's obviously internal to the company, right? So what CD Projekt chooses to tell us is obviously up to them. So we're not necessarily going to get every detail, or maybe they will give us every detail, and you can't really know. And separate to that, also the ransomware in this case left a document, apparently, that they post on the Twitter, which is really
It's a
amazing because it
notepad
just
file.
it's a notepad file that just like opens with "Hello CD Projekt, you've been epically pwned," which is just such. If that doesn't become a meme, I don't know what will. But basically, as far as it says, they have dumped full copies of the source codes for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and an unreleased version of Witcher 3, as well as all of their documents relating to accounting, admin, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. They've then obviously done ransomware by encrypting all of their servers. Note that they'd be aware that their CDPR can probably recover from backups, and that if they don't pay, they will leak said source code and documents to games journalists and other people across the internet. So it's interesting. Obviously, how much of that you believe, it's tough to say because CDPR didn't really say. Explicitly, they said some devices on the network have been encrypted. Our backups remain intact. It's all very vague. I believe there's a legal investigation ongoing as well.
Yeah.
But it is entirely possible, yeah, that that everything they say there is completely legit. They have all those files. If the vulnerability in their network was that severe, I'd be worried about how long CDPR's been a massive company. I mean, they're one of the biggest developers in Europe. It's slightly concerning. They probably need to get a more regular testing on their security team side. But other than that, yeah, it's interesting for sure because the opinion on CDPR is very complicated, I think, overall, and it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out.
Yeah, no, it's it's probably going to. I don't know. They could easily just give them the money, and it's up to the hacker if they want to
I
just
think they
release the
said-
information
Yeah,
anyway. Or
they
let-
explicitly
it's
said they're not
fun.
doing it.
Yeah, no, I don't blame them. You know, it's like, why would they? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's probably gonna take a few weeks to a few months. Really depends on how determined these hackers are and how determined CD Projekt are. But there is some really important information there. They definitely don't want to get public. And overall, there's a lot of stuff we don't want to. They don't want to lose in general. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I was just looking at PC Gamer for other news articles, two of which are quite related. When I posted in the Discord
before
the
you do
other day,
that,
no, you carry on.
that.
Yeah.
Quickly interjecting back, Guys Mod 2 is called Sandbox like that.
What is
Oh.
sorry?
I see.
Guys Mod 2 is called Sandbox like that.
Oh, cool
Oh,
name.
not a.
That's
not a
horrible.
fan of-
I like that. I really like that. What's wrong with that name?
When you were, because I've been seeing his tweets, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't aware if it was going to be like another game or just a big update, and then calling it to like what game was it Overwatch? Did they do that?
Well, kind of, but it is technically only like a separate client and download. Probably, as far as we know, they haven't really said, but that's what the assumption is. So
Yeah, I thought it was going to be that sort of thing. I didn't know it was going to
No.
be a full other. So is
Yeah,
it going to be the
Scream
same sort of like, there's RP servers, there's sled build servers for the sake of arguing, there's TTC.
Yeah, from what I understand, he's just building code to like use the what's it called? Fucking
Source 2?
Source 2, but
Hmm.
you can interject other engines into it as well, or something like that.
Okay.
It's just like Sandbox is literally just like a master code for you to be able to use like other things in it. There's not really much known about at the moment.
Okay. It looks interesting at the moment. It looks like it's going to be just a funty game. If he can make it anything like Gmod and the community can get onto it and it has the sort of support Gmod had, I think it would definitely be an interesting take on a sort of like next gen, I guess, version of
Yeah.
Gmod. More solid, less glitchy, I guess. But then I suppose that's half the fun in Gmod, isn't it? Is just how glitchy it is. But so there's two articles here that I found interesting. It kind of goes. So I want to avoid talking about VR as much as I can because I've probably spoken a good 6 hours on about 4 podcasts about VR and how much I like VR. But these topics are UK politicians' efforts to outlaw PC components reselling against Steam, which is good news. In general, the whole scalping issue that happened earlier that year, or earlier this year.
Important to note, it is the reselling of PC components that are significantly inflated RRP, not just the reselling of PC components being banned at all by UK law, because that would be absurd.
Which was just a big issue. And it's unfortunate that they can't really. I suppose I doubt they will, but the whole new next gen issue was the worst about it. I think that's what really caused a lot of issues recently about scalpers.
Absolutely.
Because what was it? It was estimated they made something like 50 million on the PlayStation 5 scalpers, which is just stupid. And the inflated prices they were asking on eBay and other websites was just ridiculous. Caused a lot of issues, especially around Christmas, for families. The other thing here, which I found interesting, and I put it in the Discord earlier, was the fact that people are going to have to correct me on this, but from what I've read, Valve are halting returns on the index for repairs. I don't know if there's extra. I suppose just returns in general, due to Brexit. How do we all feel about this?
I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with Valve.
Okay, so from what I've read, I thought it was Valve. Okay, obviously Valve aren't going to say.
The fault of Valve would be a better way of wording it.
Yeah, it's not the fault of Valve. It's obviously the whole customs issues we're having because of Brexit and other import and export issues.
I imagine, well, I certainly hope that they'll just sort of like be like, oh, we can do it from this day, so we'll just like say from this day you have 30 days, rather than the from you bought it you have 30 days if you bought it during this period, for returns, for example.
I hope so, because the Valve Index, for people who don't know, is a big chunk of money. And I've never had any experience with Valve when it comes to their hardware side of customer support and customer service. So I don't know how good they tend to be. I don't know if anybody here has
I
experience.
can comment on this if you'd like.
Go right ahead.
So the early version of the Index controllers, I believe it may have been like the first major batch they produced, had a drift issue, and so you may have heard, like, with a Nintendo Joy-Cons have a drift issue and still have a drift issue, and they still don't accept any returns and haven't replaced any across the entire 80 million units of the Nintendo Switch sold. And that's not including the accessories where people have had to buy new ones and then they just get the drift issue because, you know, Joy-Cons do that. But what Valve did with those things is that if you had the drift issue, all you had to do was put in a ticket to their support, tell them they had a drift issue, and they just ship you new controllers. Just basically no questions asked. They're just like, okay, cool, you got a drift issue, here's new controllers. And they were, from everything that I read and everyone that I'd heard from, exceptionally positive in that regard. They did everything they could to get those people new controllers. And other than, I haven't had a personal experience with the Index. I did with a Steam Link a while ago. Everything I've had with Valve has been pretty good hardware-wise. I was reading a bit more detail on that article. It seems to be basically what happened is people were initiating RMA processes, which is to, you know, return your product process. And basically Valve would open the ticket, start the process, and then get back basically saying, we initiated the RMA process for your headset and affected right controller, but the United Kingdom's recent exit from the European Union is affecting our RMA process and virtually weren't able to finish the RMA setup until this issue is resolved. We are actively working with our distributor to resolve this issue. We'll update your ticket here with all the RMA details as soon as issues related to Brexit have been resolved. So it seems to be related to some sort of distributor they're using within Europe, and obviously they're having troubles at the border, and then Valve doesn't really have any control over that. So yeah, it's an unfortunate effect, but as far as this all suggests, Valve has no intention to be an asshole and be like, yeah, well, screw you, you're out of return range or date now. Like, they're just like, sorry, but there's nothing we can do. You're just going to have to wait until it's resolved, and we'll do it then.
I mean, it would be an interesting and different world, wouldn't it, if Valve could control the borders and what happened there?
Well, the biggest
Get
problem,
your headsets back sooner.
the whole situation with this is just how unfortunate it is. Like, if you have an issue with your VR headset, it is God knows how long. We know what the UK government's like. God knows how long this is going to take. And just the whole situation is just shitty for those from Valve's end to the user's end. It's not, they can't do anything. It's under the control of governmentary powers to get their shit sorted, as the kids would say these days. It is an unfortunate situation because, as we can all hear in the background, someone is currently getting violently beaten by a dog. But no, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is a shitty situation.
I think this article seems to predict, by the way, that it seems to basically be having the product go across the UK border into Europe, right, where their distribution centre is, could incur customs charges both ways, going into the country and going out of the country. So it seems to be the problem is the distributor and Valve and the customer, and where that charge should go. Should the customer have to pay to return his product because it has to go across the border and have a customs charge? Should the distributor pay for that as part of their contract with Valve? Should Valve pay for that? And that seems to be where the issue is, where apparently this is happening with lots of retailers as well in the UK importing expensive products where the charge would be quite considerable and not relatively insignificant. So I think it seems to basically just be a bit of an argument between a few companies and a bit of uncertainty about where that fee should go and how it should be handled as a sort of matter of company policy, really.
Yeah, no, that's it. Man, I just feel bad for it. Like, if a certain someone who's getting a Valve Index, if it was to break on day one, I wonder if that's gonna cause any issues with sending it. I doubt it, but
no, I don't think so. As far as I'm aware, Valve is still sending. As far as this article suggests, Valve are still shipping to the UK, although it does explicitly mention that Valve hasn't made any explicit policy statements on how this is going to happen, so it is entirely possible if you ship a $1,000 package of a Valve Index to the UK, you could be hit with a 10 to 20% customs charge. So
10 to
That
20
could
what?
be-
Really?
Well, it's basically down to customs and how they decide as whether it's a high value product or not. It pretty much RNG. I've had products shipped into this country that have been relatively high value, that have been marked as a gift, and customs have gone, yes, this thing coming from a company based in China, yeah, this is a gift. This is a gift. We're fine with that. Don't care that it's $400. Nope, this is a gift. Check. And it goes through, and there's no custom charge. I've also had them charge me a gift on £20 items. Or refuse the gift on £20 items and charge me a custom charge like it was a normal import. Sorry. So like it really is kind of just RNG of what customs officer checks your parcel, and it's kind of a shame, I guess, because it could really suck. It's definitely possible right now that you could order an index and be hit with a pretty hefty charge. And I'm sure, I think there are ways to argue it and stuff. It's kind of just good luck, really. For context, the last thing I got hit with a custom charge on was import of something that would have been about $400. That would have been whatever it was in pounds, and my custom charge on that was 60 something to import. So, and that was from America, which I believe has different terms to mainland Europe. So it might be less, it might be more. I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Well,
Especially after all the Brexit chaos going on at the moment, where basically no one knows.
as Delicious rightly argued against me for, I'm paying a huge import tax because it's coming by train, and we all know how expensive trains are these days. It's also like half the size of them, so I don't know how they're carrying it. But man, it would be shitty if they charge import tax. I didn't realize import tax was around 10 to 20% of the value of the item.
That's not how it works. It's way more complicated than that. I'll get it up.
Obviously.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
who wants to talk
seriously
about something else while we wait for
Well,
this?
Quick.
I know how much you love VR, so I've actually got another VR topic for you.
Oh no.
And that's the rumors behind Apple's VR headset.
Oh,
God,
have you
for
heard the
fuck.
rumored price for it?
Okay, so to
Isn't it like
summarize, fuck you, Phelan. Under £135 of non-excise goods is no charge. Gifts above 135 to 630, 2.5% rates are lowered for certain goods. Gifts above 630 and other goods above 135 rate depends. Isn't that really useful? You have to call
Yeah.
them to find out. So yeah, blah blah blah. It becomes quite a chaotic event.
Man, that
Oh,
is
yes,
just
continue.
shitty. Yes, carry on,
I'm
Delicious.
glad how much we learned there. So, Bloomberg suggests that the headset could hit the market in 2022. I don't know if there was even a quarter given. I think it was just
No.
flat 2022 at some point. And would cost $3,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
$3,000 is rumored. Price.
Which, to be fair, with some of the tech that are potentially going to have in it, if these rumors are true. So you're looking at 8K display per eye using foveated rendering. So those of you who don't know what foveated rendering is, it's basically determining where you're actually looking within the headset and then only rendering that spot where you're looking at full resolution. So in that way you don't have to, well, obviously they still render the pixels around it, just not as in high quality. So you can save on performance there while still getting, hopefully, I think Pimax did it, and I've heard very mixed reviews about Pimax's implementation, with some people saying it worked, some people saying they could notice the blurriness around it. So it'll be interesting to see. I imagine Apple, being a bigger company though, will be able to make something good of it. I don't know if they've said anything about audio. I didn't hear about that, if they have.
So my biggest hope out of this is one, what's the software going to be like? Because we all know how a good software side Apple is. But secondly, is we know Apple's going to do this. I feel like there's a good 80 to 90% chance there's going to be a competition from either Valve or some other VR headset, or some other company that is working on a much better VR headset that will compete with this quality of item. At least that's what I would like to see. It'd be nice to see. This is just theory, but it would be nice to see something like Valve working on an extremely high-end headset like that. But obviously they've had two previous ones which have been quite good, especially their most recent one. So you know, it would be nice to just see competition come out of it. That there's a market for extreme, not extremism, but like a really high end VR headsets. But no, it'll be interesting to see what it is. I'm genuinely curious to see what it looks like. I feel like it's going to look like the new MacBook, the cheese grater. It's going to be made out of the same metal, so it's going to weigh a ton. But no, in Apple, they're going to have a counterweight that you have to buy for about 4 million. So
I'm expecting the like the headband from the AirPods Max. Is that what
oh my god, I've just realised. So
I keep forgetting they made that thing.
yeah, okay, so yeah, the AirPod Max is literally just a normal headset. I don't understand. Man, I don't know. I haven't seen any reviews about it, so I don't know what its audio quality is like and all that. The AirPod Max are probably some of the best on the market when it comes to in-ear wireless headphones. Well, audio quality wise. But I've just realised, knowing Apple, how expensive the accessory is going to be. Man, like, are you going to buy? Is a new headband going to be about 500? Like, I could easily see that being a situation for the headset in general. Man, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm not too interested in the quality side. I'm just more interested in how they're going to implement it. Is it going to be iOS only? I doubt that, but like Mac OS, sorry. Or is it going to work on all systems?
They'll probably do another Quest system.
Another what? Sorry.
Quest, like, have their own store.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my concern with the headset. That'd be two biggest points. Apple and right to repair have a long and troubled history. We were speaking and praising, from what we've heard, relatively good performance from Valve in that regard for replacement, returns, and repairs. But Apple are known very heavily for basically being like, oh, well, it's going to cost a lot to repair it because of how we regulate our people that can repair it, and if not, basically they just try and encourage you to buy a new one again. Which is interesting. Another thing that I would note is that there's rumors. The other thing I would note is that if it's Apple, we know they quite like to lock off software, and have their own very limited ecosystem. So I would not be surprised if the headset is completely incompatible with Steam VR and Oculus and all of that. Not that it would make much sense for them to make it work with the Oculus Store natively, but as a potential option for them to do it, I don't see them doing it to either Steam VR or Oculus systems.
So,
which would kind of suck.
Steam would be a massive loss for them, though.
Knowing
I mean,
Apple,
it would be, but it's also Apple, and they have a very dedicated fan base that have all use iCloud and all the synced accounts and stuff. I can see that working pretty well for them.
Knowing Apple, they're gonna make it locked off so you can only use iOS games. And honestly, what could you benefit?
Where do you play Candy Crush and my $3,000 Apple VR headset?
No, genuinely, what games could you use on VR if you were just limited to an Apple ecosystem?
They probably get some
I
specific.
presume they would release new games. Yeah, they take the current ones and release them on that store.
Apple Arcade, it's not a VR related thing. I'm just saying, but Apple Arcade's their own game store, but still get some pretty decent exclusives. Nowhere near. Well, it's never worth buying one thing just for one exclusive. But
also something I've just realised as well. Not only will the accessories be expensive, but if we're going to go off anything like their phones, every year the resolution's going to half. So then you go and buy the next one on.
And there's no word as well about there's word about the controllers. Basically, from what I can tell, they have no clue at the minute. They're just
they don't even know. They've just got the headset.
But there's as far as I know, nothing about we've got the resolution, but we've no idea about the frame rates they hope to achieve, or even the field of view.
Oh, that's.
I assume they've got to be going wide field of view at that. I don't know.
I mean,
the resolution.
I'm not sure whether. Yeah, go on.
What were you going to say, Luke?
I was just saying, I was just thinking about the field of view. If they're putting up such a high resolution, then surely.
And anything about that? I didn't hear anything about it.
It's Phelan said it was 8K, but it was localized 8K, whatever.
Dual 8K.
Yeah.
So.
What was it called? Sorry, the
so it's
rendering.
foveated rendering.
Foveated. Could you say that's like could you say that's in a way like oh, what did I just say? Fuck. I just said something. But yeah, but no, still, like, yeah, 8K. Like, I don't know, if they were gonna do Viviad, I would have thought the field of view would have been better, like higher.
I think they could afford to, and I think that would be
Yeah.
like, whilst the original, and to an extent, some headsets are still going for, is it 90 or 100? It's 110, isn't it? That's the default. Like the low end
Yeah, I think
default,
it's-
like
yeah.
your Oculuses and your Vives.
What,
I think
what,
that's
what, sorry.
doable, but all of the more recent headsets have been a wider field of view. That's the one.
What
Would you actually need to run this other headset that I'm bringing up?
No clue. at
Don't
the
know.
moment.
Yeah, all
we
we
don't
have
know.
is just a rumored price point and resolution.
These rumors came out very recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say was, do we have any idea on screen size, or is it just resolution?
I think it's just resolution. At the
It's
moment.
just
Just resolution.
resolution,
Okay.
but at the point that it's 8K, if they can fit it into a VR headset, it's not going to be
Yeah.
very big anyway, so I wouldn't be.
Just use two Sony phones. They're 4K anyway.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
But
Um,
what hertz rate is the index again? 90.
the index is up to 144 hertz. It defaults to 120, but it can run at 144 hertz. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if they like actually give this warning in Steam VR, because honestly I can't remember because it's been so long since I changed it. But I think there's somewhere in the terms where it says the headset is designed for 120, running at 144 hertz could reduce the lifespan. But again, as far as I've heard from reviews, no one is really having any issues. Obviously, the index hasn't been out for an extended period of time. People haven't got a 10-year review of the index, so you will have to wait and see. But yeah, I definitely say my biggest concern with any modern VR headset that comes out with a big standing point of like, hey, we've got dual 8K screens, is that no matter what method you do that, even if you somehow could render native 8K on both of those screens simultaneously, which would be pretty much impossible with today's standard consumer hardware, but just say you can, or if you use different rendering methods to try and reduce that load. My biggest concern from using different VR headsets is there are two key factors to making VR a better experience: FOV and refresh rate.
Yeah.
Resolution is not as important as people give it credit. I would much rather have a lower resolution headset at a higher FOV and a higher frame rate, where I can look around and feel, way more immersed, because I'm going to be dealing with way less, stutteriness or sudden lag spikes. Some VR games are quite susceptible to, very sudden high latency for like a split second on one frame time, and then continuing as normal. So the more you can smooth out that experience, like the biggest improvement for the index for me coming from my Vive, even though the resolution isn't particularly different, it was literally just the hertz rate. Like the resolution is not that big a deal, or it's not as big a deal as people make it out to be, in my opinion. I think it's still important and impressive, but I would be much less interested in this headset overall if it just came out it was like 60 hertz or something, which would be awful.
Yeah.
But that is a thing some headsets have done. They've gone for a higher resolution and dropped the hertz rate way down, which is just a stupid decision in my opinion.
So people know how. So people know we all. We know what we're talking about. Why don't we all just quickly say, because of a recent change, we all now have a different VR headset. Why don't we all just
Hell
quickly
yeah.
say which one we all have?
I've got the original Oculus Rift.
I got Oculus Rift S. Is it?
Yeah.
Glad you had to ask.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. I don't
Go
know.
on, Alfie. Let's save the best for last. Go on, Alfie.
Alright.
Well, I've got. The best for last.
Yeah, technically you should go.
I haven't got it now, but I should have Thursday of Vive.
And I have a Valve Index.
And
It's
I'm
more like
using
the
my
Vive
phone.
that Charles is
So-
getting is also my old Vive.
Yeah, which is also the old Vive of someone else who before
Yep.
you.
Oh my god!
I
I didn't realize everybody here has their own VR. That's pretty cool.
Okay, I've also just realised something.
Why
sad.
have we
We're
not
very
like?
sad like that.
Why are we not in VR chat right now?
Because I don't have mine. I've also just realised something, which is kind of true, kind of not. Like, so I'm just gonna say it because technically I am. Yes. So Luke has the, in my opinion, the original Oculus, like promotional one, Rift at least. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think the dev kits really count as proper
no.
releases.
And I would say that Jowan has the upgrade of that, the Rift S.
Hang on, sorry. There is a different there
There
were
is
dev
differences,
kits
yeah.
of the Rift, and then there was the Rift, and then there was the actual Rift, and then there was the Rift S. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, I
there
know.
was a
But what I'm
step
saying
in.
is, I would say that Luke has the original
Okay.
commercial Rift S. Oh, sorry, Rift. Sorry, and Jan has the upgraded version, which is the Rift S.
Hmm.
I've got the original Valve headset, the Vive, and Alfie's got the upgrade of that, even though they're made by different companies. Um,
I'm
Yeah,
Phelan's
also,
got the
stuff.
ultimate VR.
Yeah.
yeah, Phelan's just using two phones. He just sticks them to his face and just
Just
But-
using one, but alright.
yeah, but you can get double the resolution.
Well. The thing is, I would argue, and it's difficult because I did have the Rift CK1 before
Oh, I thought you had a Rift
sold
S.
it. No.
Okay.
And so, I don't have a side-by-side comparison, but I would argue that, I guess to be fair, because of how much more modern my phone is, it honestly kind of looks better. Like,
Interesting.
quality, sort of pixel-wise, I definitely wouldn't say... It's got some issues looking around, especially when I stream over Wi-Fi.
Oh,
And there's horrible artifacting. But yeah, it would be interesting to get a side-by-side comparison of them, so I could see for sure.
so basically, what I'm saying here is just expect videos of all of us just being in VR soon. I think we do have genuine plans on certain games to play, and
Yeah, I'm
things
up
to
for
do.
that. I'm well
Yeah.
up for that.
So yeah,
I
that'll be
need to
fun.
get a Connect tracking set up, but yeah, I'm doing that. So
Connect
we'll
CS
commit.
podcast.
Oh, imagine that. What was our plan yesterday to do it in? It was to do it in Desert Bus,
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
which is I think the best idea.
Is that Xbox Connect tracking? Use an Xbox Connect.
Yeah,
Camera.
so to get body tracking in VR, right? So it tracks your arms and legs. There's multiple different methods. The high-end method is getting different trackers that you attach to your body. So like
Yeah.
the traditional way of doing this would have been like quite commonly with the Vive because that was integrated into the Steam VR ecosystem, and the Steam VR ecosystem makes this very easy to do. You just buy more Vive controllers and strap them to your legs. You just the things you'd normally put in your hand, you just strap them to your leg, like normally like one on each calf, and then it can sort of extrapolate the position of your arms. If you then put another one on your chest, because it knows where your hands are, knows where your chest is, so it can pretty much figure out where your arms will be connecting to your chest.
Yeah.
And then you have like full body tracking in VR, so you can actually like kick a ball and it will kick the ball in a game and stuff like that. Now they actually HTC sell what's called the Vive Puck, like by the community, but it's officially just called like the Vive Tracker or something, I think, which is basically just like a small tracking thing that rather than it being a full controller, it basically just serves the purpose of being tracked. You charge it up, you slap it on your leg, and you can do that. But a cheaper way of doing it is just using a Kinect. You can get a Kinect, and the Kinect obviously could track the position of your body, and then I can't remember the name of the software. I think there's a couple of them. You can plug those pieces of software into Steam VR, and it will forward the data on where your body is. So as long as you've got a good visibility to the Kinect, so on like the tracking system, it doesn't have like quite as complex like hiding behind objects and stuff that you might be able to do if you have a good base station set up. But yeah, you can get your body to track in like VR chat by doing that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick, to be fair.
And
Can you do that with? Do you have to have the index for that?
No, you can do any Steam VR compatible headset. Should be able to do it. I'm not sure how the ecosystem works on Oculus. I believe it can be done. I just don't. I've never owned Oculus and I've never worked with their software, so I don't know how you would go about getting the extra trackers set up. But I believe it's doable. If not, you can get Oculus to work with Steam VR anyway. So yeah, it should be good.
And for those people for those 4 people doing it the same way as Phelan, using your using your phone, what you can also do is there's a piece of software that allows you to connect 4 phones, and you just stick them to your limbs, and they track.
I'm not kidding. The actual tracking recommendations from the community forum I'm on for the software I use to run it on my phone is generally use the Xbox Connect. I think the other one was like the PlayStation Eye, but people just use the Connect.
Oh yeah, don't use the PlayStation. If I'm not wrong, the PlayStation Eye uses lights to track. That's how it does the VR in PlayStation. It uses light points, not tracking points.
Yeah, I would
Well,
definitely use the
typical tracking points.
Xbox Connect system.
Yeah, that uses a whole bunch of other. It uses an IR sensor, doesn't it, for depth of field, and the camera uses luminance sensors and all that. It's just a better tracking piece of device. Is there a preference on which Connect you use?
I
different
don't
connects?
believe there's a preference. Yeah, there's the original Xbox 360 Connect and then an Xbox One Connect that I don't actually know
I thought it was all the same.
what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Okay.
difference is.
I don't
I've
know if
owned
there is
both.
much of a difference or not. I just didn't know if there was a difference or a preference, because I would
Well,
assume
I'm checking now.
the one is better.
Okay,
Do
so the Xbox 360 one uses an infrared projector, um, and a 3D full 3D camera, blah 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 blah. And the Xbox One Connect, which is called Connect for Xbox One, and then released as a Windows version, Connect 2 for Windows the year later, uses a wider angle time of flight camera. So there is a difference between them. As far as I'm aware, most of the ones I've seen people using as an Xbox 360 Connect, I don't think because it needs to be an Xbox 360 Connect, or because people prefer that Connect or whatever. It's just because most people have old Xbox 360 Connects lying around and they can be got for cheap on eBay,
Yeah, that's stupid.
or other
cheap
secondhand
these days.
sellers, rather than getting a modern Xbox One Connect. I'm pretty sure that's the main reason I've seen them used more. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
Well, we're
the,
playing
the
FIFA
Reddit
now, then, aren't we?
posts-
No.
Yeah. In the Reddit post that I was talking about, the forum here, they do explicitly say Xbox 360. So, like you said, whether that is perhaps the software they recommend to go with
Yeah.
it only works with
Yeah.
360, or whether it's just cheaper and better, which very well could be the. I tell you what, whilst that's going on, I'm gonna have a look for Connects and see how much they are nowadays. It's gotta
Alright,
be like £5.
I've got two things.
Oh dear.
One is a recent thing. The with the tracking, there's a recent thing that's coming out called
£13.
Tundra Tracker. It's apparently supposed to be like a Vive tracker but smaller, and it's going into Kickstarter soon. I haven't heard much about it, but it's something along the lines of it. Because it's just smaller and lighter and it holds more power and it holds more battery. There's
Yeah.
not really much that's known about it, I think. I've heard a bit about it, but I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I just opened up their website. Again, like you say, it seems to be just sort of earlier, going on Kickstarter soon. But yeah, it looks interesting for sure.
I
It is
think
just like a mini version of the Vive tracker.
I think the best thing about the Vive tracker, I don't know if I presume you can use the normal controller for it. Yeah, because you just said, is just it's like one of the reasons I would use it is just having a separate camera point for stuff like mixed reality.
Hmm.
Which is cool.
I'm gonna
So-
look actually buying, because these you can get a sensor from eBay for like less than 15 quid. I don't know what the adapter availability is like. I imagine there's plenty of them. I'm very, very tempted to do that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can all.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that.
How
I
good
want to
is
get one
it?
myself.
How good is the one-to-one tracking in VR chat?
Very good.
Oh god.
Yeah, I expect it'll be better than your motion controllers, won't it? Surely.
I mean, it's not really anything to do with VR chat. It's basically Steam VR. As far as I'm aware, the Steam VR SDK, like the Open VR SDK, sorry, that Steam VR plugs into, that pretty much all of this stuff plugs into, has the ability for you to just like rig a model for VR tracking in full. So I believe with VR chat, you have to load a model that is rigged for that, which not all of them are. But as long as you do, then Steam VR just inputs your leg is here, and then your leg will just be there, and there's pretty much nothing more to it than that.
Oh yeah.
All right,
It's going to be a lot of fun.
the second one that I would talk about is with Valve and VR. Is their recent like partnership with OpenBCI to get brain computer interface VR.
Yeah, that's something I've apparently been very interested in.
I haven't heard
Yeah.
about this.
I've not.
Yeah, and I don't know how recent it is. It is pretty recent actually. That yeah, they've teamed up with OpenBCI to actually get BCI VR in early 2022.
BCI
Yeah.
VR. What's
Brain
okay?
computer interface.
Oh. So this is something I heard. This is when was this? This like, well, it kind of been mid last year. So this would have been a year before. Wow. One of the most recent proper interviews with Gabe Newell.
Yeah.
He said his most the thing he wanted to work on next was brain interface technologies. So I can understand why that's happening. If it
I
becomes something, doubt it, not for a while.
I just wasn't expecting this to come so soon. I
Well,
was, I was expecting it like to come, just not so soon.
Yeah, the whole problem with brain
Interesting.
interface, anything, is just that there's a huge ethical issue towards it of the limits of what you can do with it and what you should do with it and what you shouldn't do with it and all that. So it's a complicated situation, you know. Overall, it would be interesting to see how it works and what they can do with it. But in general, I think VR is definitely moving forward. I don't think it's going to be the way of the future. We'll probably get something different. Probably something like Apple.
What do you think would be the way of the future if it weren't for VR?
I don't think VR is going to be the way of the future, just because I think it's a connector. I think we'll have something more advanced that will take us to the next step of immersive gaming. Because I think that's the whole
Like
the whole next
chips
step
for your brain.
Yeah, like interfaces, brain interfaces or whatnot. I don't know if that would become the next step, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where it happens, and it's happening so soon. It's sort of snowballing at the moment.
I personally think that mixed reality is the next. I think I've
Yeah,
on the
I
podcast
do as
before.
well.
Yeah,
But having used high-end VR, I think it's amazing. I mean, it truly is great. Like, there's no, I'm not. Don't mistake this as me trying to say it's not a good experience because it is a great experience.
that's what you said.
But I think two of the major problems with it are that when you fully immerse yourself in a separate world like that, you come with the limitation now that you need to have a clear space in your room. You need to be very aware of your surroundings. You need to get your VR legs, as they say, which is get comfortable moving about in the physical world when you can't see it at all. So you need to know where you are quite well, and all of that can be quite an overwhelming sensation at first, especially for someone that's never done that sort of technology before. But mixed reality allows for the concept of you put on a headset, and the video game is now integrated into the world. Things can come out of shelving units. If you're having I think I use this as an example because it is a common example used in MR, but you can hold a gun and shoot like a little flying spaceship. It's a bit like Space Pirate Trainer, but instead of them just being all around you in VR, they're coming out of your shelving unit. Or they're coming from out of your view from behind the sofa, and you have to actually duck and hide between things. Like MR allows for that integration with the real world in a way that means you now don't have to worry about where you are in your room. And MR normally comes with better tracking in terms of inside out room scale type stuff. So I think MR is going to be like a big thing, and it's also generally more accessible, and a lot easier to develop games for, because as much as it's like software wise might be more complicated to get initially working, get like the SDKs for it and stuff. Software development kits, like the actual game design aspect of it doesn't require like the development of a full 3D world because it's based in reality, which I think can save a lot of development time on making better gameplay experiences versus the amount of work that, for example, went into Half-Life Alyx that went into just designing City 17. And don't get me wrong, it's incredible. It's really good. It's a very beautiful place to walk around and experience in VR, but for the everyday user and for the actual development costs of a company that have to be realistic when you're not a multi-billion corporation like Valve, that can just flaunt that money if it wants to. Those are all important things for the longevity of it as an ecosystem.
So I'm going to argue with that point.
Oh God!
Because personally, I think they're two completely different. They are two completely different things, but I think they're made for two completely different industries. I personally think when it comes to mixed reality for gaming, I think that's a bit of a gimmicky thing, personally. And there is huge amounts of limits. Using that example of Space Pirate Trainer, that's a cool idea. But you couldn't do anything like Alex in mixed reality. You couldn't do a full-fledged story.
It depends on the headset.
Yeah, but you can't. The problem with mixed realities, I think people like VR because you can get immersed into these completely different worlds.
Equally, what if you went to, say, like an airsoft arena, as you would now, or like a paintball arena,
Yeah.
except you were in a mixed reality headset, and it was way more immersive than anything you've ever had with, all the futuristic sci-fi things you can imagine from Space Pirate Trainer, but in a physical space where you actually have all of the settings you'd expect from like a proper airsoft center, but now you're doing it in VR. Like that would be pretty cool.
No, that is really cool, and it's a really cool thing to do. I'm just going to ask you one quick question. Would you go outside?
Well, now? It's a bit of a complex question at the moment.
He's trying to get you killed.
Yeah, no, but like I because personally I think mixed reality is much better when it comes to stuff like it would be amazing in the medical industry, great in marketing, sales, great in
Yeah, I don't
stuff like that.
disagree.
I still think VR is still a much better way of doing games. Yes, it's a lot more work, but the whole idea of VR is to get completely immersed into these completely different realms.
yeah.
One thing
I-
that was cool with VR that we used to do at work, so obviously work in construction, it's pretty sick. Like obviously, like you have the architects design the builds and everything. They used to like set up like systems and like whatever software and stuff. They used to build the buildings that they were going to build in VR, and you could go and view the house in with the VR headset and walk around in it. I think that's pretty sick. Like there's so many things that it can apply to.
The dangers
That's
of
pretty
the
cool.
thing is the dangers of that is if you're using mixed reality, you could walk into a room that isn't there and fall to your death. Like genuinely.
Well, you couldn't do that with mixed
What?
reality.
What?
If you have some very badly implemented mixed reality, maybe.
Also, what if you have mixed reality where it's like hide and seek and you accidentally go into the toilet
Oh god.
that for some reason your mum hasn't locked? You know, you're gonna have issues.
You sound like you're talking from experience.
Some weird nightmares
can't see
he
that
has.
This is, yeah.
But no, like,
Yeah, I
I
want to
think
stress that I actually prefer VR to MR. Like, I will probably be using VR for longer in my life. I think VR is more suited to me. I still think though for the world, what I'm thinking here from an analytical, what do I think will be more successful as a business venture? I think over in the long term, MR is the place to be. It has more applications in business settings. It has more applications for everyday use. It has more applications for companies to create experiences with than VR does. Right, creating a company around providing VR experiences is way more expensive and way more complicated and way more limited than MR can be once we get the technology up to par with VR as it is today. I still think VR is more for me. I agree that I think it's better. It's a more a cool technology overall, but I don't. You know, if you ask me which I think is going to be the more successful venture, like overall in businesses in 50, 60 years time, I would say MR is probably going to be more successful.
the thing is, if you're talking about it in that sense, 50, 60 years, MR will probably just be the daily norm, like in glasses, like what Google, like the Google Glass.
Maybe.
It'll probably be implemented into something like that instead of it being its own thing, where you could go to your job and or like you could go shopping and instead of saying, oh, how's this bed, you would just have MR built in where you can just browse loads of different sort of things and then just order it for it to be delivered, sort of idea. I don't think like there'll be as everything, there'll always be a transitioning period where you're gonna have
I mean,
stores where they have MR in it, and then it'll come to a point where it's just in everybody's phone or everybody's glasses or whatever
the
we use.
ultimate idea would be a headset that can transition seamlessly between MR and VR. If you could achieve that, and I'm not going to claim whatever technology you would do that by, like, you know, that's obviously something that's probably quite a bit off to be implemented smoothly and seamlessly, and not just in theory. That would be the most optimal situation, because then, for example, like Luke was saying, you could go to look at purchasing a house, and or you know, to have a house built for you through a contractor or something like that, and they could knock something up quickly. You know, they might have a few presets or something on some software. No, not like that, not that sort of builder. And you'd put the headset on, you'd get to walk around your house, but then on the fly, you could implement MR aspects of it, for example, and they might have an example room or something that's a similar size, and you could actually physically move things out and place things in the room and design that, or maybe you could actually place things and build stuff in it in like a warehouse area. Like, there's loads of ways you could implement the cross between VR and AR.
They did
MR,
with the
sorry.
VR. They had multiple layers, which was really cool as well. So that you could strip back certain things. So you got the full thing. This is still like VR as well. Yeah, I think it's pretty sick. I don't really. Yeah, what's MR?
Mixed
Mixed reality.
reality.
Mixed reality, right? So that's
So,
you're still walking into a
imposing
room. You see
virtual
everything
stuff on
normally,
the world.
but then right. So it's just like a mixture of the two.
Normally, it's done right now by having you able to see through like a screen and then projecting onto that screen.
Like
so,
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, kinda. That's normally AR where you insert it, but more like in a headset. So you'd have a headset on, you could see like your room in front of you now, but then stuff could be placed in it in 3D space. Or it could adjust how something looked, like like say you had a picture on the wall, it could overlay pixel for pixel that picture where you'd see that picture with like a different picture, and then that looks like a different picture as far as your brain is concerned. So like an implementation in like that construction side of things could be, you walk in a room and like you're unsure about like something as simple as, where do you want your power sockets to go, right? You're designing a house, where do you want your power sockets to go? So you in MR in a physical room, like a physical room the size of your room, like when your house is half built, you could use an MR headset and you could place your bed and your cabinets and your wardrobe where you want that to go, and then go, actually the most
Yeah.
convenient places for Housebox will be there, there, and there. Which is doable in VR. Just the difference is that you could have some with MR. You could have the guy walking around and being like, "Yeah, we can do this" or whatever. So it adds like a more ability for like real world positioning and like applications where you can take it somewhere in the real world rather than having to go to where the VR headset is set up. But I think both have their uses. That's why I think like
Yeah,
mixing them
I don't
together
think
would be amazing.
I very much doubt that either of them will actually like not go forward. I think both of them have their own things that they're amazing at, and yeah, I think like mixed reality though, that does take in some. It's virtual reality, isn't it? But just in a real world.
imposed
Like, I don't
on
know,
the real world,
things
yeah.
added onto it. I don't know.
I would say the best way to describe mixed reality is what technology. I would say it's very much like Google Glass, except from your tracking elements into the world, and then just projecting them onto an element that you see through.
Keep thinking
Google
about
Glass was
Pokemon
more just
Go.
like an overlay.
Yeah, but what I mean is Google Glass. It's like Google Glass, except from your tracking those elements into your world. Your place them into a world. You're not rendering those objects physically on a wall. You're rendering them onto a screen to look like it's on the wall, as you described. I think my genuinely what I've been thinking this whole time is I really hope in that world you're talking about where you could have VR that could transition to mixed reality, is the headset still like the way they do today? So you just see people walking around homes with these big boxes on their faces, as you just got
That'd be
someone
amazing.
talking. That would be just phenomenal.
Also, I know it's
So-
a very weird thing to jump back, but I do want to just make it clear for anyone that is interested. As far as I'm aware, the main software people use is Driver for VR, and that software supports Xbox 360 Connect, Xbox One Connect, and other individual body trackers like Nolo VR, which appears to be some sort of weird Chinese brand of trackers or something. I'm a bit unsure. The website's all in Chinese, so but it seems to be like equivalent to the Vive tracker. So it seems to support quite a lot of stuff.
The motion sensors that you get with the Vive, it was with the Index. I think I was speaking to somebody on VR chat. They're like really expensive. Each one of those sensors, aren't they? They're like pretty expensive. You
Yeah,
can
they
get like
can
an
be.
Xbox Connect. Like you must get one really cheap, surely. Massive price difference.
Yeah, for the Vive tracker, which is the most common one that people buy, like not, how many do you get? Is it literally just one per box? I think it is one per
think
box.
so.
Yeah, they're 119 euros each, so it's pretty
Yeah.
spicy.
Yeah.
For a full setup, that's 3 of those you need, which at that point is the price of a new VR headset.
Mm.
Yeah, but then again, I suppose people just
The
buy one for
technology is
camera.
so good. Yeah.
So yeah, I love how we've spoken about VR for what, half an hour.
Well, like you said, you love it, right?
I
It's your
love it,
favourite
yeah,
topic.
and I can't wait to use it.
Oh, I can't wait for you to use it as well. I think we should all get on Faz. I think that's a shout. I
We
think
should
that'd
just
be awesome.
we should use the cheat where we can get 5 people in or whatever. And
Mm.
I think that's been fixed ages ago, hasn't it?
I don't know.
No, I think you can still get 5 in.
That used to be a thing.
You can get as many when it first came out.
Literally like a config file, and it just brings it all in
Ah,
there, basically.
okay.
Yeah, you could get as
Yeah, it
many
used to
people
be a
as
thing
you like.
because when it first came out, if you went to a public lobby, there was like a 50% chance you'd enter a lobby with like 60 people in it because it just removed the limit, and everyone was trying to join the public lobby, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" and just stayed. And like the audio is just like so low bitrate because it's like a shared bitrate for the whole lobby.
I have an idea. Should we make Phasmophobia? Should we do our own Phas? Because okay, so
Oh,
I
God.
spoke about this on my stream before. Agent Oink introduced me to Wayne Radio TV.
You love him.
Yeah.
You really do.
And he did a funny comedy sketch series in Gmod. I think we should do our own one, but in Phasmophobia. So one of us plays the ghost and tries to scare the shit out of the other people.
Right.
I think that could be quite fun.
I think you could just let the ghost play the ghost, to be honest. And
Ghost's pretty good at playing the ghost.
yeah, I think the ghost is pretty good at being a ghost. To be honest, I get shit scared in Phasmophobia. Another one's the forest as well that I get like so scared on, like because they're just so tall. I'm looking up at these people. It's like, oh god.
Oh, it's not going to
Unless
be
you're
a problem
fight-
for me then. I think we should do TTT in VR. I think that'd be banter.
Yeah.
What's that? TTT.
Trouble in Terrace Town.
Oh yeah, I
missed
didn't know you
out.
could do that. I like
should be
Trouble
able
in Terrace
to.
Town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as
Pavlov
I'm
would be
aware,
your best bet.
the Gmod VR mod would allow that perfectly fine.
Oh, what's that? I didn't know that was a Gmod VR mod.
Yeah, it's like it is a mod. It's not an official implementation, and it isn't perfect, but it works pretty well. From my experience, it's generally pretty good.
Oh. I'm gonna have to look into
I'm gonna have to
it
look into games I want to play in VR because I haven't really done
now.
that too
Dark
much.
RP in VR.
Oh no,
Oh man.
that's
I
not.
don't know if VR mod has full body tracking support. The only time I've seen it used is just arm and head tracking. But if it has full body tracking support, that'd be amazing for Gmod.
Oh, we need to get a golf game in VR because
Just no clip, just no clip in full body tracking, and just like Superman fly through the map.
Oh no, that's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be.
get that that VR mod now, just because otherwise I'll forget, and I cannot go missing out on this.
I should really start installing games because
try it with my phone.
some of them are quite big.
You might as well.
Hmm.
Pavlov is good. What other gun games do people play in VR? Because Pavlov
My favourite
is
one
like my
is
favourite.
hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades.
Okay,
Yeah, it nearly broke my fucking my
We've said
bloody
this enough.
shelf though. Like, it gives me a bad taste. I think about that game when I just think about you punching it, and I'm watching everything wobble on it. And I'm like, oh, like damn Charles, what?
I was trying to chuck a grenade, okay?
You were failing miserably.
I tried to just yeet it and I hit it straight down. Nah.
You even broke my controller slightly.
Did I?
Yeah, you broke the plastic. It came apart, but all the plastic's designed to do that, so you just push it back together.
Oh. Don't worry me like that. We should get like
That's
a VR mini golf game because we all love mini
Oh
golf.
my god, we mini golf but in VR. If that isn't a thing yet,
Is
Tell you
there-
what, you
wait-
can actually,
wait.
there are some sports games that you can play in VR, and they're actually pretty good, like
There's so much
surprisingly
I
good.
need to
I played pool in VR chat.
Oh,
It takes skill, dude. It's actually sick.
so
I'm there like proper trying to.
I've
my
got a more
tracking wasn't too
important
good,
thing
but-
to say. There's mini golfing Wii. There's Wii golf. I've never
Wii
seen
golf,
mini
whatever.
golf.
I just mean normal Wii golf. I said mini golf because for some reason I imagine Mii's as being really small.
Yeah, but Wii golf still in VR would be funny.
Also, yeah, someone basically has made this game, by the way. Like, there's no way to mod it from the V for obvious reasons, but someone has basically just made a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite
Same
hilarious.
person who did the Goose desktop thing.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Mm.
I'm glad you
I
know.
was gonna mention it, but then you
Oh, I'm
interrupted.
sorry, I beat you to it.
Bastard! No, beat me to it. You.
I don't know what I want to play in VR now because I'm trying to limit. I can't obviously buy all the games in the world right now for obvious reasons.
Look, the entry to VR is still exceptionally cheap. What do you want about? It's easy to get access to.
Yeah. Oh, the lab is still, I think, one of the best entries into VR.
It's a great introduction. It's not a game, though.
No, but it's a great
No.
great introduction. Going into Valve headquarters.
Yeah,
is great fun.
I think VR chat would be quite cool for like a first time thing, because then you can kind of like speak to other people, see what's up with other people. You can talk about their VR sort of setups. I don't know. I can't remember what I did. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do if I could go back. My
What-
first VR thing, I think.
What I might
Or
try
racing
and do is next time your boss has like a meeting showing buildings in VR, I might try and come in, like find out on all the information and
What?
just intrude on
What?
it.
Hey.
You know, that'd be funny.
Dear, dear.
Yeah,
What's wrong with that?
nothing's wrong with that. I think it's pretty cool. That's
Nah.
that sort of stuff. I like that it's like getting commercially used. You know what I mean, rather than just people using it.
Oh, I the thing is, I know
For
for a
games and
fact
things.
that Agent Oink wants me to break my headset a week in.
Wants you to break your headset.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's malicious.
because
Yeah,
he
why-
wants
why-
he wants me to play not only Alien Isolation VR, but Phasmophobia and Outlast. Was it?
No, I just said Phasmophobia and Alien Isolation. But you're already
Yeah.
playing Phas, so Alien Isolation VR is the main one I want to get you in because I want
Oh.
to see you like mostly on stream. I want you to stream Alien Isolation VR. That sounds amazing
Alien
to watch.
Isolation. Is that on PlayStation 4?
I believe the base
Yeah.
game is. I don't think VR is because it's a mod.
Because I think I've played something like that on the PS4 VR, and yeah, that was quite good.
Oh,
you
yeah,
had
maybe it
like
does have PS4
aliens
VR
jump at
support.
you. I don't know. It might be that. It might not be that. It
I
might
thought
be
it
something
was its
completely
own
different that I
game,
played.
Alfie. What the
No,
VR?
Alien Isolation VR is a mod because they said that it was going to have VR support when they announced the game, but it never did. So some modders dug up the files, patched it up a bit, and then got it working basically.
Oh. Well, yeah. Well, the new Hitman VR came out on PlayStation, didn't it, recently?
Yeah, Hitman 3 released with VR mode already inbuilt, but it's only currently playable on PlayStation VR. Yeah,
Which is pretty cool.
which is a shame.
Wait, you got Hitman on VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitman 3 has a VR for PlayStation VR.
You can tell me I can run around as a bald dude,
Yeah.
shanking people in the back. Oh,
You
that's
could do
sick.
that already. To be fair, I mean. Just
Oh, yeah, I suppose you can
take
run
some
around as
clippers to
literally
your head.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you need to do is shave your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
Alfie.
Be right
I-
back, guys.
Don't know if you remember the old. This is going back a few years. The old horror series we did on my really old channel on Gmod. Shall we redo it in VR?
Yeah,
Good.
Oh, good God.
I do remember that series.
You should
weirdly enough.
redo a certain Fallout series in VR. That would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I shouldn't I? It'll be very short though.
True.
Just get out of the bunker. Oh, fuck this, and then just go back in and never come out again.
You know, I think you.
Just don't even get into the bunker.
Have you ever played? This is I know it's a jump, but have you ever played Alien Isolation, Charles?
No, I don't
'Cause it's
play
a
horror games.
It is a really good game. Like I can't stress enough how much of an absolutely stellar game it is, and I genuinely think you'd actually enjoy it. Like it's terrifying, but you would actually enjoy it because it is actually a really, really well made game.
So
Alien Isolation about. Is it by aliens by any chance, and are you isolated?
yes,
Well, it's an Alien franchise, the movie franchise, and you
play as
basically
Ripley, don't you?
play as Ellen's daughter basically.
Oh.
What's her name? Amanda, I think. Yeah, Amanda Ripley. So you play as her, and you get on the Sevastopol. I think the ship's called. And basically, there's an alien on it. Wow, what a surprise! And that's the whole storyline. And you
No.
basically have to avoid it, and it's terrifying because you're being hunted
Wait.
by xenomorph the whole time. But it's cool. It's like a really well
Did
made game.
PewDiePie play that a few years ago?
Yes.
Is that a few years old?
Probably.
Oh my god, yeah, I've seen that. Oh my god, you've just unlocked so many memories.
so
Yeah,
I
I've
just want to
watched
say,
that. That's sick.
The one thing I don't like, for context, I streamed Outlast, the first Outlast, and it took me 10 minutes to go through the first window
You
because I'm
looked
scared of the
at a
dark.
wall. You just were looking at the wall and moving along it.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna go in dangerously.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure it's less dangerous if you look at a wall. To be fair.
Yeah, because you're
Oh.
less likely to get killed.
Where can
Yeah.
you buy Alien Isolation?
Steam.
Steam, like all of the other stores, I believe
Epic
it's even on
Game
Nintendo
Store.
Switch now.
And it
Well, it
works with
came out
VR.
2014. You need a mod. It has
It's
to. You have to have the mod, so you need the PC version. But yeah, it's
Oh my
terrifying
God,
because the
I might
base
put my
game
dad
is
as the Chrome
terrifying.
version.
Oh,
Right.
I want to get my dad in VR. Horror games, man. That'd be funny.
Yeah, my dad loves it.
I bet
Yeah.
actually, yeah. You should get him. You should get him to play one of those Star Wars lightsaber games, but use his actual lightsaber.
Oh god, no, because he'll break that one. He's already broken one of them.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, man.
Man.
They're expensive as well, dude. They're like genuine. I can't remember the brand actually, but they're like genuine replicas. And
Yeah.
you look at them up on eBay, and they're like £600. It's like, oh fucking hell.
No, okay, we
Pull
need
them off the
we need
zombie.
to know, how did he break it?
It was him and my cousin decided to have a lightsaber fight. And we all said, "Oh no, it'll be fine" and everything. It wasn't, obviously.
I wonder
I actually
why.
just found a really interesting piece of news looking at the Alien Isolation VR mod. So the mod's called Mother VR, which I remember now that I've looked it up. But it hadn't been updated since 17th of November 2018 until the 28th of December 2020. And the reason is they slightly refactored a couple stuff and added Epic Games Store support. Because they gained some knowledge from working on Reclaimer VR, which is the VR mod that they're working on for the entire Halo Master Chief collection.
What?
Which, if that works out to be good, sounds amazing.
Wait, they're
But
doing.
it's yeah, they're
Wait.
making a VR mod for the whole Halo the Master Chief collection.
What?
We are replaying all of it, Jowan. If that
What?
comes out, I'm not kidding.
Link it, link it, link it.
I put it in Eurocomms.
Thank you.
It's not out yet. It's in development.
That's fine. I need to keep an eye on this. What the fuck?
So we've lost those two now. They're never
Guys.
coming back.
I mean, it
Alright,
doesn't have like
that's
anything
it.
published on the
Podcast's
repo,
over.
but
That's fine.
you can
Keep
see
a
them
look at it.
talk about it on the releases page for Mother VR there.
Wow. Okay, that looks like fun.
Book mod.
Imagine, oh my god, imagine that fucking map we play where you go down in the vehicle and you get faster and faster and faster. Imagine that in VR. I hope you remember.
I hope it's from a third-person perspective, even in VR, though, just to really experience.
Well, actually, there isn't first person in driving, is there?
No.
Mad.
Not yet.
We need to do CS:GO VR, Valorant VR.
I didn't know you could do CS:GO VR as well.
There probably is a mod.
Again, you could just play games like Pavlov as well, though.
Actually, no,
I would
this is a
say
genuine
it's probably
question.
better to play a game that's designed for VR if you're going to play a shooter of that sort of raw nature.
Which one's better, Pavlov or Onward? Onward.
Oh.
And I've only heard of Pavlov, so my vote would be Pavlov.
Okay, because Onward's higher rating on Steam, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, it is.
It's mostly positive, whereas Pavlov is very positive, so that's 93% people say it's good for Pavlov to 74% for Onward.
I'm sorry.
I think Onward's better for single player, in my opinion. Pavlov's better in multiplayer, and they've just added the World War II update where you can operate tanks like you would, like with the little handles and things, and that's what I wanted to do.
What, in
so I'm glad
Pavlov?
someone's done that. Yeah,
That's cool.
How do you spell Pavlov? That's how you spell Pavlov.
like it sounds. P-A-V.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's because I got it for some reason. It wasn't showing up.
Oh, okay, fair.
Oh, they have. Oh, sick.
I really want to operate a tank by winding all the
It's
little
also only
wheels.
£20. Man, I might look into that then. I can't wait for Thursday. I just really am annoyed that I've got a lesson Thursday, so I have to really. It's a really dull day for me.
I mean, I definitely think for you, you have the benefit of you play quite a lot of games, right? You've played some more like die-hard shooter games from the very like arcadey, fast-paced FPSs of like the console FPS type stuff of like COD and Battlefield, all the way to like the more strategic stuff, you know, with Squad and EFT and that. So like, I think you have quite a lot of like games, and you play other games as well. I just was being in the FPS genre. You've got quite a lot of stuff to try, like the equivalent in VR, and it'd be interesting to see like what you find from like things like Pavlov. Because some people like I haven't personally played Pavlov, it's just not my sort of game really. But everything I've heard of Pavlov from everyone that's played it is like this is pretty good. Like even the people that aren't particularly into that genre are just like, yeah, overall it's pretty well done. Probably not going to play much of it because not really my thing. But like the actual implementation is decent from what I hear.
So what really annoys me is watching people play stuff like Pavlov, or the most recent example would be NerdCube playing the new Medal of Honor VR. And it really pisses me off when I come from someone who I love milsims and games like Squad or recently Howl Let Loose, and I just see him just shooting a fucking Thompson one-handed and hitting all these shots. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
come on, where's the realism in that, man?
But what, in VR?
Yeah.
I do think that there's some skill involved in VR though. I've played
100%.
Pavlov and it's not easy. Like
We should 1v1 in Pavlov.
which is what's cool about VR. Like I give you know,
We should do a 2v2 in
where it's
Pavlov.
due. It's really cool. It's how it's supposed to be, that you have to fucking aim. But it's completely different to playing like CS:GO with a mouse and keyboard. Like obviously.
Yeah, I
But
actually
it's just so cool. It's just
my aim is better in VR from what I've played, because my aim on PC is really inconsistent because I just don't play many FPSs, and I never bother to like learn my like movement well enough in CS or like Valorant to have good aim in that sort of style of game. The best I've had would be like point-to-point hit tracking in Overwatch, but like I find like my instinctual, even if I'm not like warmed up aim in VR is generally better at a base level because you, like you say, you have to physically aim the gun. It's a lot more instinctual, right? Like reacting to someone flanking you and stuff can be a lot more. It almost entirely switched off in your brain because you literally can just like, oh shit, there's someone there, turn, aim, and shoot like in an almost instinctual way, which I think is actually really fun to like deal with.
And with me as well is that it took me time to actually realize it was based on my instinct, and it was based. I felt so. I'm in VR and I'm stood there and I'm holding a gun and everything, but I'm still using like the little joysticks on my controllers. I'm still pretending like it's a game that I play with a keyboard and mouse. When really, no, you've actually got to really sort of like submerge into the VR world and actually fully take on board that you are actually in the VR world, and you are supposed to point your gun and use your hands as well, like, which I just never picked up on before. I know it does sound weird, but it's like, yeah,
Also,
to actually realize,
the different game mechanics. You can shoot from behind cover without having to peek that cover now.
Yep.
right? Like it's not like CS. We actually have to peek an angle. You can just shoot the angle if your aim's good enough.
It's funny because it sounds so obvious, but it's like
It
it's
makes a
kind of
big
not when it
difference.
comes to like actual games, like shooting games. This like we've never played. I've not grown up playing shooter games where you can hold your hands out to shoot around a wall. It's like I don't know. It's cool. Well, it's virtual reality, and
Yeah, it's seen as a stupid rule, but and it's also banned in airsoft. But yeah,
But these are video games.
yeah, that's very true. Pavlov,
You
I
don't just
might
do
need
it in
airsoft nerds.
real life with a gun if you wanted to. I suppose.
true. Try one
Still
hand
got
in an
people and stuff.
MG42. Sorry, an M249. That's easy. They weigh like nothing, don't they? They're made out of carbon fiber, if I'm not wrong.
Oh yeah.
Also,
What's,
I just love the concept of like in CS, alright, you can win an engagement as someone pushes you just by like you chose to reload at the right time before they peaked, and then you got the good shot on them. But there's something funny about VR from like just an enjoyment of the overall funniness of it, of people fumbling a reload because it's actually really hard to aim your mag properly.
That's
And,
very
like,
true.
just, oh fuck, oh for fuck's sake, you drop the mag and take another one out, like and you just die. Like that's hilarious to watch and experience.
Thing with me is that so I was doing like these 1v1 servers, and you spawn into the world and you're given like a whole wall of guns to pick from, whole wall of grenades to pick from. You can pick up a knife, and I'm there like, yo, do you know what? You've even got the sights you can put on your guns and everything in Pavlov. Like you're putting these like you can put like the ACOG sight on your gun, you can put like a silencer, suppressor, what you want to call it, on your gun, grips on your guns. It's wicked. But I'm stood there whilst I'm in this 1v1. Someone's hunting me down, but I'm stood there like putting my gun together, taking my time, which I shouldn't have done, but it is what it is. And I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck.
But oh yeah, no.
Oh, sorry. It was. I kept dropping my gun every time I went to shoot someone. I point the gun at the person. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get it. You're gonna fucking get it. And I just drop it, and I'm there like trying to pick it up off the floor. I'm obviously crouching down. I'm in real life as well. I'm actually picking it up off the floor. I'm like, I can't grab it. I can't reach. And this guy's just stood there looking at me like, what's this guy actually doing? Yeah,
What I'm gonna genuinely do, and this is what like you'll watch me on Thursday, and you'll be like, he's actually doing this. Is when we play Pavlov, I'm gonna just have a line of guns, and I'm not gonna reload. I'm just gonna pick up a new one when I finish a mag, or keep as many of me as I possibly can, or balance one on one hand.
You can pick up like. You can start doing it fairly quick. I think I picked up like reloading and stuff fairly quick. It's it's actually really fun, to be fair. You try and do it really quick, and you feel like John Wick. That rhymed.
What's the point of reloading when you've got all the guns in the world under you?
Because I don't know. You don't really have guns around you. You kind of
Do you know
chasing
what?
people down.
With the military budget of the United States, I don't understand why they reload.
True.
Just get another gun, bro.
Oh, the funny thing is about that, because it is the United States, they do use RPGs that you don't reload. You just you fire and just bin it.
They do. Yeah.
The M79 Law, do correct me on that if I'm wrong, I think it's what it's called. That's a one-shot use gun, not weapon system. Shoot that, you can't use it anymore. You have to either take it back home for them to reload it at the store, which I don't know if they can do back at the factory.
M72.
M72. I was 6 off.
That's what I
7
looked it
off.
up. 7, yeah.
I'd love to see how they do that. I wonder if it actually just fucks the gun itself though, and they have to go and like refurbish it. I wonder if there's YouTube videos of that.
Oh, what, the M79? Wait, what was it?
Yeah.
The M72 law.
Say a number and add 7.
I couldn't remember if it was add 7 or take 7.
The the rules that you follow in your country, just whatever. We'll get
The
there
law,
again.
yeah. I think it's just the way it's built. It's literally just a one shot. You bin it. It's made to be a really small rocket launcher. It's like the Panzerfaust. Am I saying that right? Is that the one I'm thinking of? The one, it was literally just a tiny little tube with a warhead on the end, and you would shoot it and then chuck it away. So, Panzerfaust, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the little one that Germany started using quite effectively. That was just you shoot it once, chuck the tube away sort of deal. Can't reload it. It's actually surprising how many RPG weapons they have in the American Army that you can't reload. If I'm not wrong, I don't know if it's brought into action yet, but the Carl Gustav was a big factor for that. That's a reloadable rocket launcher. The RPG, obviously, we all know and love the RPG. Effective.
Yeah, I think both of those weapons that you mentioned are reusable.
Oh, I know that the Carl Gustav is. Can't remember what the actual name of it is.
And I think what you're referring to with the M72 is that there's a small snippet on Wikipedia here that says that by like policy, once it was fired, it was ordered to be destroyed after every single use,
Wow.
so they couldn't be used by the enemy, which is again a very American thing. But like, as far as I'm aware, yeah, I think Phelan's right. It could still be fired again theoretically.
Oh, just right. Shoot it off and then chuck a grenade at it. You need to destroy it, okay? Can't leave it with them. Which is quite funny you say that, because I was watching, and this is a while ago, but there's a channel called Thunker Tactical, which release military clips. And there's a really famous one of someone using the law, and they shoot it in a tiny little ditch, and it scares the shit out of everybody because, one, they shot it way too close to infantry. Two, it's in a confined area, which you should never do with a blowback or an open back rocket launcher, or basically any rocket launcher. But after it, he just chucks it in a hole in the ground. I'm like, one, that's bad littering. Two, not very hidden.
Littering.
Well, you have to.
Like, you meant to take it to the local bin in the town.
Yeah, be worried about it.
You meant to recycle it. You meant to keep it. You need to go to the local bin, the local recycling bin, and put it in the
I'd
right
have
one.
to see that customs meeting. So, sir, could you explain this rocket launcher that's in your bag here? Yeah, well, I'm taking it back to the recycling plant down Nevada. You know the one?
I think they did. It's a popular one as well, but everyone knows.
I'd like to find the area as Nevada, an entire state.
So, did I tell you my friend went to where was it? He went to New York once, and their flight. I'll explain this story after, but their flight was meant to go. It had an issue. They flew back and landed somewhere. I think they landed in Ireland, and there was an entire military platoon there, flying back from flying to Iraq. No, not Iraq. Fucking
Syria?
yeah. They were half American, half British soldiers. So it must have been two platoons. Sorry, I do apologise. But it's the story of what happened on the plane that gets me the best. I don't know if I've explained this on the podcast. But they were flying to New York, and about 20 minutes into the flight, I want to say, I do apologise if these don't sound right, but about 20 minutes into the flight, the pilot came over the tunnel and said, hello everybody, I've got a bit of an issue. The cabin is on fire. We're gonna have to turn around and land somewhere. Now, two things. I feel like telling everybody what actually has happened is the worst thing to do. Surely they could have said something like, I personally, because for obviously you could probably guess everybody panicked at that exact moment. Everybody panicked. The funny thing about this panicking was my friend was a little nervous. However, his younger brother was sleeping, so didn't hear the announcement. And so when they had landed, he's like, "Why are we here?" And he just went, "Oh, they ran out of fuel."
Yeah, I think more the issue is the delivery there, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I would rather be told what the actual problem is if I'm on an aircraft. Maybe that's from having some knowledge of aircraft. But it would feel a bit disingenuous if the pilot came across and was like, "Yeah, actually, we just have a minor electrical fault," and then there's like smoke billowing out from the cabin door or something. You'd be a bit like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
but also I feel like they should probably have stressed that it most likely wasn't an issue. I don't know the details. It could have been a really serious issue. It could have been problem, but they need not like immediate immense danger. It was hard to say. Like, but I feel like probably just being more reassuring about it if it was something that wasn't an immediate high danger.
If I'm not wrong, it was in the ventilation system, so their cabin was filling with smoke. Nothing else was.
Just open a window, Jesus.
True.
God, just turn on the AC, you
Just
idiots.
fly to New York, you know. Come on, bro.
When I turn off the loud fan because it's annoying me in the helicopter.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's a silly meme. No, if you turn the helicopter's rotors off, you can still land it.
Can you?
So,
No.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll let Phelan explain this one.
Blade keeps spinning as you go down. Not in the same way as forward, like powered flight, though.
No.
Isn't it called auto gyration? Not auto gyration.
auto rotation?
Auto rotation. Auto gyration.
It's just got like a bearing and they just keep going.
If you're carrying people of a certain profession, it could be auto gyration. But
I mean, I would also stress that I'm pretty sure with if you just were God and stopped the helicopter's blades from rotating just straight to zero momentum like that, snap your fingers, you can still technically land it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a clean landing, but you can still technically land it.
It blows up in flames, but it's on the ground. It's still a
I mean,
landing.
it
Oh,
could
no,
be a
no.
couple feet off the ground.
This is
It's a
something like
landing of sorts.
this is something I genuinely don't understand, and it really baffled me. Scientists haven't figured this out. But why is it when cars turn over, they instantly explode?
What?
It's where the fuel tank is.
All GTA 4 taught me was as soon as your car was turned over, it just blew up. Or if you landed engine
What
first,
it taught
it just
me
blew up.
is when you're driving down the highway and you're in like your nicest car you've ever had, you saved and worked for years to get this car, and the engine fault light comes on. If you don't pull over and run from at least 100 meters from it, that car's going to explode. You've got 60 seconds. It will just explode.
Yeah,
Because
if
that's
you
how
do
cars
run,
work
it
when
doesn't
they get
explode.
Yeah, if you get within 10 meters of it, it just doesn't explode. Oh man,
Yeah, it's like when you walk back and you open it and then it explodes, like in every video game.
I've probably said this on the
Waits for
podcast.
you.
I've probably said this on the podcast before, but I don't think I told Luke. For the longest time when I was young, for about 5 years potentially, I thought the hazard button on the car was a button that made it explode, or made the car stop working. So I just avoid touching it at all possible moments ever. The reason I thought this is because in one of our old cars, our parents pressed it at one point and it wouldn't stop. So they had to jam a cigarette box in it to jam it open so it wouldn't keep on. And I just assumed that was just because that just killed the car, or blow up the car.
I would have loved
What
to have been
happened?
little Charles, like driving down the fucking motorway, thinking when you press that button, the car blows up, and like an accident happening ahead or something in the road, so people are doing a hazard signal one by one back down the chain, and he just sees his parents reach for the button, and the thoughts that go through his head. In
Mum's
that
just going to
5-second
sacrifice me. Be right back.
moment.
It's not funny. It scared me as a child.
So scary.
It just, I don't know. I assume the button got locked in, but like they pressed it in, they couldn't
What button?
the hazard button. It got pressed in, but it wouldn't come out, so it was just locked on.
I'm so confused.
The hazard
So
button.
they put a
been
cigarette
in a
lighter
car?
in the button.
No, not a cigarette lighter, a cigarette
I've
box.
got a car.
Cigarette box.
Yeah, the hazard button.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you flick that on and it's
Yeah.
going off. So it's going ting, 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 and then you flick it off and it's not turning off. So what you do is you get your cigarette lighter.
Can you do us a
And where
sound
did
of
you
what
put
it
it?
sounds like when it's
it
not
was
on?
the cigarette box.
Well, when it's not on.
Yeah.
It sounds like this. Ready? Okay. It sounds like this.
Still ready.
Thank you.
Oh no, I was just saying that's how the hazard sign sounds when it's not on. That's what it sounds like.
It
I
wasn't.
think it sounds more like this. You know,
That's
that's a bit.
I
No.
am worried that your car sounds like that when it's
Sign.
just parked.
It's not. We never noticed that it was parked. We're driving, bro. Just casual.
Who has their hazards on when they're driving?
Oh no, because you're
Someone is
going
about
to
to
turn
pull
the
over.
hazards on.
Oh, dear.
Why are you sat completely? Oh my god.
Dad,
When you
Still
get in your
don't
car,
understand.
do you-
Just somebody explain how you turn the hazards off with the cigarette lighter.
No,
No,
with
so,
the
so the
cigarette
hazards
box.
are stuck on because the button won't uncompress, so they had to wedge the button out in the off position with a cigarette box. Otherwise, the hazards would have been stuck on permanently.
Cigarette box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Oh,
cardboard.
Okay. Oh, okay. I get that. I was really confused then. I thought you were just gonna like mash your dashboard with a cigarette lighter and like, just completely fuck it.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like you saying this, but genuinely, my instructor told me if I want to go ahead, Like, because you indicate left to go left, you indicate right to go right. If you want to go ahead, you flash your hazards once to let people know you're going ahead. Like, genuinely, is that not what you do?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Oh,
What's that,
my
Charlie?
word.
If you want to let people know you go ahead, you flash your hazards so that it's both at the same time. So you let people know you're going ahead.
I don't know.
That's what my instructor told me.
Huh.
Solid advice.
That was obviously a
But
joke.
it's also note that when you're changing lanes, instead of using the indicators, because you're not turning left, you're just moving to the lane to your left. And what you should do is roll down the window, open your door, and flap it 3 times for 3 lanes if you're going that. 2 if it's 2 lanes. You get the point. And that's exactly the official standard in the UK.
So if you're going left, obviously our car's a right-hand drive. So if you're going into the left lane, you've actually got to, I don't know, what do you do? Lock the steering wheel in place, lean over the other seat, maybe get in the other seat to the left of you.
It's
No,
kind of
no, genuinely, what you do is you
Flap
get those
down the window.
bars. You get those bars to lock your steering wheel in place when you leave it. You get one of those.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that locks it so that you can then get over to the next window and indicate left. Also, another fun fact: the only time you're legally allowed to take your seatbelt off is when you're reversing. You have to fully rotate your body to look back.
Whilst you're driving.
Yes.
You rotate the chair. What's wrong with you?
That's it. Give me a moment, madam. Like that.
Yeah, you're not in a gamer chair and your racing chair in your car where you rotate it on this wheels.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, that's how I reverse.
By the way, that thing I said about reversing, genuinely, someone told me that. And I'm like, is that really the case? He consistently says, yes, it is.
Next, you'll tell me you don't have vibration on your fucking controller.
Controller? Oh, on the wheel, yeah, to know when it's coming off.
Yeah, the controller.
Yeah. My favorite button in a car is the one that basically makes the wheels flip inside and you start flying off.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know,
What speed do you have to be going to do that?
around 98.
Fair enough.
Because obviously, is it clarified it's 88 miles an hour in Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 99 miles an
Why
hour,
did you
89,
say it like that as well?
88 miles an hour, or 88 kilometers an hour.
I put
couldn't
it for
remember.
141.62 kilometers an hour, but that's me.
Damn. Well, there's only 2 of us here who have cars, so those are the ones we should be listening to when it comes to car.
Hey,
laws.
I have a car.
There's only 2 of us here that have cars.
I have a car.
You're never getting in my car again.
What car?
God.
You can just keep him at bay by pressing the hazard button, Faye, then you'll be
Shit
alright.
box.
No. Last time I was in his car, I almost flipped it on the roundabout.
You nearly.
Car is very stable.
Yeah, he's got the tiny. Okay, so he has a Volkswagen.
Nope.
Volkswagen. No.
Volkswagen.
What car do you have again?
We're gonna go until we get it.
You have a Wagoner, a Citroen
Okay,
Wagoner.
what make is it? No.
It's not a Hyundai. I'll get there eventually. It's not a Citroen. It's not a Hyundai. It's not a Clio. It's not a. What is it again? It's a Wagoner. It's a fucking.
You could just Google it at this point. You know the fucking name of the model.
No, because I know it's a Wagoner like 20S or whatever.
What?
A Wagon R20S.
It's a Wagoner.
Wagoner.
Is Wagoner one word to you?
Wagoner, yeah.
Wagner. He made Fly with the Valkyries.
What the fuck? It's called. It's not a Subaru, but it's a car made by the same country.
Whose car are you talking about?
Phelan's.
Mine.
Oh, is it
Okay,
Japanese?
so you've established that it's a car made by the same country as the Subaru Corporation. I mean, there's not a particularly long list of famous car companies from this country that you're thinking of, presumably. Unless you've got the
Japanese.
country confused.
Saab? No, it's not Saab.
Oh my god, Saab is Swedish.
Yes,
Isn't
I
it?
know. So are Volvo.
Yes.
No. Is it a
Not
muscle
General
car?
Motors, I'll
No,
give you that clue.
it's not General.
Good lord.
What's it called?
Come
This is
on,
amazing
give us-
content.
A Citroen? No.
Just okay. Skip what? Skip about Phelan's car. We're not forgetting that. List
Oh.
car manufacturers from Japan.
Okay, good.
Is it a Toyota?
No.
Mazda?
Oh,
No.
Suzuki.
Holy shit.
Well, if you pronounce it like you're an English person, then no. But
Close
yes,
enough at this point.
good. Yep.
It's a Suzuki. That's how it's spelled.
Suzuki.
Yeah, it's a Suzuki Wagoner.
Mm.
Yes. Which I am about the same height of when sitting in, and half the weight of, so I can flip the car on command.
Right. Oh my god, my next. Well, I say my name. A car I was looking at was the. I don't want to get its name wrong because it's a stupid name. The E-Bussy, and
No.
this thing
E-Bussy.
weighs. Yeah, I'm aware. Thank you. it weighs. Here it is. Laden load with. Oh no, sorry. This is unladen. To be fair, is 450 to 600 kilograms. So, Charles could roll that if I was to get that, depending on where the center of mass is. Or he could give us a push home if we need. So, win-win.
I could push fucking Luke's car.
I don't know. My car's kind of big, dude.
Yeah,
Cars
precisely.
are on wheels, which helps.
Yeah,
to be fair.
not if you. Okay, so I have.
Mm.
I saw an accident once where someone had spun their car, and
That's
obviously,
a good save then.
and the
think
people in
it's
it were a bit shook.
Shook.
You were shaking the car.
Like.
Yeah, no, genuine. We were trying to push the car. There was 5 of us. We were all between the ages of 18 to 22. And we were all trying to push the car away. And my friend who works at a car dealership got in there because he was like, okay, so we're going to just steer the car out of the way. I'm going to put it in neutral and we'll push it out of the way. But he couldn't turn the wheel. So we all just assumed, oh, because it hit the hedge or it hit like a bank, the wheel just probably got locked somewhere. The police come by, looking at all of us lads and like, which one of you's in this car? And then this old lady's like, oh, it's me, I'm sorry. But they got in the car and instantly turned the wheel. And what my friend had forgotten to do was put the key in because there was obviously the steering wheel was locked. That was fun. It was a
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
you're saying you completely wasted all of your time then?
yeah. We were
it's
tempted to. We were close enough to picking up the car and just like moving it bit by bit so we could get it along the road.
Kind of extreme.
So man, I've never been
Okay.
in a car accident. Close though, about a centimetre off.
I've crashed a car. I crashed a
Turns out
Volvo.
E-Bussy has the best adverts that I've never seen before.
Who has what?
E-Bussy, they have the
Oh,
best adverts. I put one in the Discord there. You know what? I'll put it in the Twitch chat as well for anyone who wants to see what I'm talking about.
wow.
I was considering it. I was like, oh, it doesn't quite go motorway speeds like with all models. I don't know, but now I'm sold.
Man.
That is some advertising.
Well then.
So dumb.
Have you put it in? You have.
Yeah.
Why did you put it in my personal chat?
What?
You put it in the
It's not
Tactical
I
TV
DM'd it to
chat.
you. Yeah. Yeah, I've put it in the chat that we're all currently in so that we
Right,
can
we
see
can
it,
all
and
see
the
it.
Twitch chat for people who are in the chat and want to watch
No, no, no.
it.
What I mean is, you put it in the Tactical TV Twitch chat.
Wir hatten unsere Höhen und Tiefen. Jetzt stehe ich hier vor Ihnen.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Ein-
Yeah, okay, I do see the issue there. Sorry, I'm too busy moderating in the wrong channel, apparently. It was all nothing.
I'm
No,
not
you
the
did, boys.
idiot. Thank
No,
fuck.
you're not.
Good job.
Fair enough. You did word it very, very awkwardly.
No, I
in your
didn't.
defense. You absolutely did.
I
but
didn't.
There we go.
Anyway, appreciate
So
that.
would you put it in my chat, which could refer to one of like 500 things? But anyway, there it is. It's
Gucci.
very nice. You want to catch up on my Agent, or you can see the marketing genius. He's
Right.
E-Bussy.
Oh, we're coming up to 2 hours.
There it is.
So, oh my god. Yeah, we're coming up to 2 hours, so I think we should start calling it a bit of a day there. A bit of a day.
Been a bit of a day, guys.
It's been a bit of a day. But I do appreciate everybody coming in here. We had a wonderful podcast. I personally feel we had a wonderful podcast. As we all know and love, it will be up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, Breaker, and all the rest very soon, probably come Thursday. And I'll be live again tomorrow. As we always like to do, we always do a little bit of a wonderful outro, letting you all speak about what you're doing in your life, and if you've got anything you want to promote. So we'll start off, as we always do, from the left, and we'll go to the right. So Agent Oink.
Yeah, not much to promote this time, other than it's good to be doing the podcast again. It was good, and it's nice to have you on, Luke. I hope you enjoyed your time, albeit slightly
Thank
chaotic.
you.
I don't know why I'm doing it like I'm the host, but welcome.
Well, we all
I
are
hope you had
hosts.
fun. I suppose.
And
I
anything,
thought we.
anything you'd like to promote?
Yeah, twitch.tv/tacticaltv and twitch.tv/icklenickel. Icklenickel, whatever, fuck. I fucked it up.
Ickle.
I don't know the username off my head, and I fucking mixed it up with the In the Night Garden character.
Oh. Right, and so we'll go to the middle. What about yourself, Ickle?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for having me here. It's been actually really nice, and cool conversations and that. I don't really have anything to promote. I'd like to promote everybody else, but I don't know people's Twitch links. But I'm sure you can find people's. I know you can find people's Twitter links down below.
Down below is everybody's Twitter's handles, so you can get them from there.
Yes, cheers.
Oh, it's been wonderful having you on. What about you, Delicious?
Oh boy, what do I get to promote? Well, I think it's been a fairly good podcast. So you know what? Twitch.tv/tacticaltv. Let's just keep it classic. Let people know where to go. Send him money so he can send us money. Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly how it works.
What about you, Astivad?
Shout to Tactical TV.
Thank you. I guess I'd just like to say thank you, all of you, is always coming on. We'll be back next week, as always. I appreciate you guys answering.
As always?
Yeah. Shut up. I want to appreciate everybody, just saying stuff in chat and answering people. I do apologize if I've ignored people. I didn't mean to. I'm still trying to sort out how I'm going to get everything. I'm still trying to make this podcast different and better. And all. As you can tell, I've tried to be a bit more interactive when it comes to close-up cams and all that. So yes, promotion. I guess I might as well promote myself just to full round it over. Also promote Icklenuke. Check him out on Twitch. Icklenuke, spelled the same way as it is on here, just in all caps, if I'm not wrong. Though you said you might be changing that.
Oh yeah, she's lowercase.
Okay,
Really?
so it's same way then. Yeah, Icklenuke, ICKLE nuke. I can't spell. But yeah, no, thank you everybody for coming on. It has been wonderful. So yes. Wow. Yeah. We should be back next Tuesday with another episode. And man, it's been good. So always have a good evening, good day, good night, good morning, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Age.
What did you say?